for the murders of 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And I know down in the city of Utica, it was raining pretty hard, but as soon as we started to come up that hill this morning, boy, that snow was coming down.
Quite the difference. Yeah, as you mentioned, elevation played a key role in the system. And matter of fact, let's take a look at the Mesnet cameras right now because I want to show you guys the difference in elevation making quite the difference in snowfall. So if you live in Utica, you're waking up this morning, you're looking outside and the road's a little wet, not a whole lot of snow. You're probably wondering, where is that snow? Well, there's lots of it if you head into the higher elevations in the southern valleys. For example, some of the images pictured here, Lawrence on the bottom of your screen, it's reporting, I believe, let's quote this, 8 inches of snowfall, wet, clumpy snow. There is 9 inches in Brookfield. Springfield with 6 inches, heading down into southern Chenango County, 7 inches in Belden and other locations which the measurement hasn't quite taken shape just yet. So depending on elevation, either waking up to wet roads or a complete sloppy mess heading out the door this morning. So downtown Utica, as you can see here, wet roads, rain showers, snow-covered roads in Cooperstown and finally Oneonta. Lots of snow falling at this point. And the radar looking pretty busy. This system is continuing to push through parts of our region. Still some pretty decent snowfall rates, especially into eastern Otsego County. And zooming out, the low pressure is now making its way into Massachusetts. And as this departs out to the Atlantic, conditions will eventually quiet down. So next 12 hours, we're going to actually see a warm up into the low 40s today. And on top of that as well, this will be a system that'll taper off in intensity and most travel impacts will be all but gone by this evening. So again, we'll keep a close eye on how conditions are playing out across the area. Of course, have that latest in that weekend forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast, never more than 10 minutes away. Well, it was a very
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back, everyone. The time now is 5:12, and well, what can you expect heading out this morning on the Munson Commute Cast? Well, a variety of different things depending on your location. Let's first off take a look in Old Forge right now. There's still some slightly slushy roads, but conditions aren't too bad, especially on the main road on Route 28 heading into the downtown Old Forge area. Downtown Utica, it's a mainly rain event. There is some wintry mix mixing in with it, but again, this is there's enough rain falling that any snow that's trying its best to accumulate is starting to melt. So green grass here in the lower elevations. Cooperstown, a different story. We've got snow-covered surfaces, wet snow, which is the stuff that's slippery, it's slick, and on top of that, it will clump on trees and power lines. And of course, that was our main concern leading into today. And on top of that, Oneonta, clear view of the snow showers taking place across the region at this point. Now, Traffic Tracker, the first time in a while, we are seeing this gradual slowdown. A lot of these roads here in the southern valleys, I-88, near a crawl in some spots. Same thing for I-81 south of Syracuse. And of course, as you head up into those hilltop areas in Chenango and Otsego County. So again, this morning, potential for some slippery, slushy roads. Slow down if you can in the higher elevations. And by this afternoon, snowfall rates taper off, temperatures climb, and road crews will be hard at work clearing out these roads, and things should be on the brighter side in terms of travel conditions heading into this evening. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Now to a Thanksgiving safety tip.
The Cooperstown Camera is brought to you by Don's Ford of Utica. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. It's turning out to be a busy morning for some locations as you head out the door. Matter of fact, a live look at Oneonta right now where the snow is falling, and it's not just ordinary snow. It's that wet, clumpy, dense, slushy snow that will cause slick roads as well as potentially collect on trees and power lines and could even cause some isolated outages. So we'll stay close on that throughout this morning as the snow continues to fall. Some of our sky watchers checking in with snowfall totals across the board. Again, as we mentioned over the past few days, it might be difficult for the Mohawk Valley to see anything in terms of accumulation. Trace amounts of snow reported by Bob and Clinton. Heading up into the North Country, 1.5 inches of snow. It kept falling, but then kept melting again, and that's what our Skywatcher Bill has reported. But take a look at some of these totals down here in the southern valleys early this morning. Now, out in Shingo County, Visalia reporting 7 inches of snow, 5 in Edmiston, 5 in Skenevis, and Westford with 14 inches of snow. So, again, drastic increases in totals as you head up into those hilltops, and that's the case right here this morning. Radar, very busy as well. Lots of moderate to heavy snowfall across the board. Rain showers as expected in the lowest of elevations. And zooming out right here, we can see that this low pressure system is continuing to move its way north into Massachusetts. And when it does that, basically it's going to cut off that supply of moisture into our area, which will slowly wind things down throughout the day. There'll still be some scattered rain and snow showers, but the intense snow banding of that will come to an end. Now, widespread snowfall and rainfall expected early today. Isolated spots of that expected for Saturday and Sunday. So this weekend's looking to be a little bit of an unsettled one, but we do dry out, though, as we head into Monday. Now, watch the pattern of this low pressure as we head throughout the weekend. It stalls for a little bit, pushes its way back south and to the west, and then eventually departs our area by Saturday evening. And so zooming in today, snowfall intensity does taper off. Few rain showers in the Mohawk Valley as well. And then heading into Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 30s, and then just a chance of a spotty light shower or flurry. Lake effect will start to take shape as we head into Sunday. Initially rain in the Mohawk Valley and potentially additional snowfall just south of the Mohawk Valley. We'll, of course, keep you posted on that. But your 7-day forecast, again, conditions right now are in the 40s at this point, at least regarding potential highs for the next 5 to 7 days. 30s in some spots as well. And as we approach Thanksgiving, again, it's looking to be on the cooler side. Temperatures in the 30s as we approach the end of next week. We'll be right back. 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Friday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And West Winfield, Waterville, the reports on the scanner are coming in. Trees, power lines down. This is some heavy stuff that's fallen.
Yes, and now is one of the concerns we had with this snow event is the temperatures are so close to freezing, get that wet, clumpy snow, and it sticks to things like power lines and trees, and as well as creates slushy roads. So that's another concern heading out this morning. So let's take a look across central New York right now in the Mesnet camera network, where we can still see some spots receiving a good amount of snowfall rates at this point. And again, totals in some locations nearing or over a foot in the highest of elevations, 5, 6, 7 inches of snow in parts of the southern valleys. Now, those of you in the Utica area, well, not too much regarding snowfall, at least early this morning, but a different story as you head down to, say, Cooperstown, where some decent snowfall there as well, and the snow is falling in Oneonta at this point. The radar showing wet snow falling for pretty much all the southern valleys, some sporadic snow showers up in the North Country, and then, of course, the Mohawk Valley. Mainly rain with just some light snow showers and a wintry mix mixing in with that. But that's the case for most of this morning. Now, as we head throughout the day today, the intensity of this snow and rain tapers off and will actually warm a little bit into the low 40s. So we'll quiet down a little bit. Still a few spotty rain and snow showers across the board, but we're going to talk about those travel impacts looking ahead to the rest of the day today, plus a preview of the weekend in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, Matt Gaetz is out.
The Cooperstown Camera is brought to you by Don's Ford of Utica.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Friday morning. For those of you who caught the noon broadcast yesterday, I mentioned that it was quite an easy choice as to what would be the photo of the day today. Normally I pick the photo in the morning, but this one I think already took the cake. How about this right here? This is a photo of the first snowman of the year, or first snowman of the season, taken in Bridgewater by Kathy. And it's a small one there, but of course, this adorable dog here was pointing it out. And so far, it was the first submission we received of a snowman in our area. So without any other competitors, I think this takes a cake. So congratulations, Kathy, on the first snowman of our area here in this season. If you would like to submit a photo like this one, send it to the link right there on the top of your screen, wktv.com/weather/pegs. Now to a more serious note regarding the weather early this morning. Here we are with a look at the radar early today. Snow showers south and north, rain in the Mohawk Valley. This snow is wet, it's dense, it's causing power outages. Are the latest numbers, and we'll of course provide them throughout the newscast. 4,000 or more without power in Chenango County, over 1,000, nearly 2,000 without power in Otsego County, and well over 1,000 in Madison County. So there are in total 37, nearly 38,000 outages in New York State early today from this event. So again, we'll keep a close eye on these outage numbers, and we'll of course talk about the latest trends regarding the system in that full forecast. Gary?
Definitely be careful out there driving this morning. That's for sure. Eric, thank you. 2 years ago, Cazenovia College surprised
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. We are continuing to track this wintry system rolling through our area, and some locations seeing a lot more snow than others. Let's take a look at Oneonta right now, where the snow is falling and temperatures are hovering right around the freezing mark. And on top of that, there are some outlying areas outside of Oneonta that have seen quite their fair share of wet, dense snow. Latest Skywatcher totals checking in across the region. Trace amounts of snow with Bob and Clinton. Mike in New Hartford checking in with just around a half inch of snowfall. Bill in Old Forge with 1.5 inches of snow that kept remelting after falling. And then the main bullseye of this event here in the southern valleys. Stewart in Cooperstown with 7 inches, Scott and Evanston 5 inches, Gary and Schemes with 5 inches, as well as a report in Westford of 14 inches of snow. So again, elevation dependent, some spots seeing a whole lot more than others. You head down to, say, the Mohawk Valley, and you get barely any. A live look at the radar right now, we can see there's still widespread snow taking place, so we're not done with the snow just yet, especially for those of you living south. And on top of that, this wet snow is causing power outages. It's causing accidents. We'll talk about in a second, but parts of Route 12 are closed right now due to a tractor-trailer accident. So just a heads up in between Paris and heading down into the New Hartford area. We'll, of course, again, have more updates on that coming up in a few minutes. But main thing is, though, Valley still looking relatively rainy and less snowy. And zooming out here, we can see the radar and satellite showing us that low pressure is gradually lifting its way north. But the thing is, it's going to start hooking its way west and then back down to the south. And we'll, of course, see remnants of rain and snow throughout the next few days because of that, but nowhere near as intense as this morning. As you can see here, widespread rain and snow today. Saturday and Sunday, a few isolated flurries and snow showers across the board. We dry out, though, as we head into Monday. So the behavior of this low is it wobbles back and forth a little bit and then eventually departs out to the Atlantic as we approach Saturday night. And then, of course, following that lake effect for Sunday, drying out as we head into Monday. So this afternoon, the intensity of this system begins to break apart. We'll still see some lingering rain, lingering snow showers. Temperatures climb into the upper 30s in the valley, so you get above 35, 36 degrees. Even wet, clumpy snow can't quite survive to the ground. And of course, following that, we'll see that activity still remain unsettled, but taper off for the most part for Saturday. Lake effect snow, rain and snow on Sunday. And this unsettled pattern continues as we look ahead to Tuesday and Wednesday, and of course, for Thanksgiving next week. Gary?
Eric, thanks. There is a leak on the International 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And power outages to tell you about just coming in the past half hour due to all of the heavy snow that's been coming down. Here's a look at some of the numbers right here. Shenango County, about 4,500. Otsego County, 1,400. Madison County, 1,600. Here in Oneida County, just 226, and Herkimer County, 133. And Eric, you were mentioning that this weather is going to continue for a while, so we could see even more.
Yes, I'm thinking some parts of the southern valleys could see higher outage numbers as we head throughout the morning. The snow's still falling. It's still wet, heavy snow. And on top of that, this is also causing the potential for even some accidents. We'll talk about that right now. Matter of fact, if you are driving along Route 12 this morning, let's zoom in right here to just outside of Paris as you head down right next to Chuckery Corners right there. The Route 12 area is closed between Kellogg Street and Fountain Street in Paris due to property damage from a motor vehicle accident involving a tractor trailer. It's blocking both lanes of travel, so if you're heading out on Route 12 this morning, you might need to find another way heading into work as that road is still closed, again, due to a tractor trailer accident blocking both lanes. So that's the latest regarding a traffic alert early this morning. There are still reports of trees and wires coming down across the area, especially again in those higher elevations where that snow is still wet and dense. Downtown Utica right now, a different story. Rain showers rolling through, 36 degrees. Cooperstown, snow on the ground at this point, and same thing for Oneonta where the snow is flying. So it's a largely elevation dependent event early today. Now, snow showers still linger across the southern valleys early this morning and to the north. Rain in the valley, and conditions will gradually weaken and taper off as we head into this afternoon, with temperatures peaking in the low 40s. So again, we'll talk a bit more about how the system plays out, any additional information regarding additional accumulation, and on top of that, a look at this weekend's forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast, never more than 10 minutes away. Well, it was a very...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good morning. The time now is 6:12, and well, what can you expect heading out the door early today? Well, depending on location, you either could see some rain showers or slushy roads. First off, Old Forge. There is some slush on the roads, but the snowfall continuously keeps remelting after falling. So up here in the North Country, snowfall amounts aren't really that high. Our report from Old Forge from Bill, our Skywatcher, checks in with 1.5 inches of wet snow. Downtown Utica, there is rain falling, but it's mixing in along with that wintry mix, and there's just enough rain to prevent any snow from accumulating. It's just too warm in the Mohawk Valley to support that at this point. So heading into Cooperstown, a little snowy heading out the door early this morning, and same thing in Oneonta with temperatures in the low 30s, and of course, a decent amount of snow falling at this point. Here the first time in a while, our Munson traffic tracker showing lots of slowdowns and crawls over lots of the areas in the southern valleys. Slowdowns and crawls along I-88 and I-81 out south of Syracuse. But a reminder again, right along Route 12 between Kellogg Street and Fountain Street is closed due to a tractor trailer accident cutting off both lanes. So if you used Route 12 heading out to work this morning, just a heads up that you'll have to find a detour. At least as of now, the road still remains closed. So this morning, again, a heads up, those of you in the southern valleys, slippery, slushy roads, please slow down when driving. This is one of the, I would say, slipperiest conditions you could think of for roadways for these types of events. But by this afternoon, this activity tapers off and we'll see dry weather gradually move in, but for the most part, roads should be treated and plowed at that point. Gary?
Eric, thank you. Now to a Thanksgiving safety tip for the...
Spoil your day. Tune in for the Storm Tracker 2 Commutecast, brought to you by Munson. Visit Munson today and ignite curiosity and creativity. Visiting Munson and the Storm Tracker 2 Commutecast, both free and both Utica's very own. Remember, all roads lead to Munson.
This portion of News Channel 2 is brought to you by PJ Green.
The Cooperstown Camera is brought to you by Don's Ford of Utica. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. It's a wintry scene in a lot of locations south of Utica. Well, the snow isn't quite sticking as you head into the Mohawk Valley, but of course, elevation dependent, large differences in conditions depending on where you are. Let's take a look at Oneonta right now. The snow is falling. It's a winter wonderland down there, but on top of that, maybe not so much of a wonderland, with some locations reporting trees down, wires down, slippery roads, unfortunately accidents. This is one of those conditions that takes place when we have this wet, dense, heavy snow that falls with temperatures like this, which are marginally right around freezing in the low to mid 30s. Our sky watchers checking in with snowfall reports across the region. Mohawk Valley traced to just under an inch of snow in the Utica, or at least the New Hartford, Clinton area. In the North Country, 1.5 inches of snow, but that snow keeps remelting as those warmer temperatures keep moving in. The bullseye of this system so far is, of course, in the southern valleys, those hilltops especially. 5 inches with Scott and Evanston, Gary and Skenevis with 5 inches, Stewart and Cooperstown 7 inches, and a report in Westford of 14 inches of snow. And the snow is continuing to fall, so these numbers are likely to continue to increase. And here we are on the radar. At this point, Mohawk Valley, largely rain event. Snow showers falling at south and north. This will be the trend as we move forward throughout the morning. So there is potential for additional accumulation south and potential for additional power outages as you head throughout the morning. Following that, of course, zooming out, the low pressure system is moving its way north. It'll eventually wobble its way back out to the west as you look ahead to later on this morning and the early part of this afternoon. Following today, snow showers and rain showers, spotty in nature at this point. The conditions do dry out, though, as we head into Monday. But as you can see here, this low remains pretty stubborn over the next few days. But the good thing is that most of the primary impacts from the system wind down as we head throughout the day. So as you can see here, pretty active morning, lots of heavier snow, and then the snow showers and rain showers gradually taper off throughout the daytime hours today. And then as we head into Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, areas of patchy light rain and flurries. Sunday, lake effect snow and rain possible. Again, largely elevation dependent. We'll, of course, have more details on that as the system winds down later on today. Following that, conditions do look a little unsettled and still on the cooler side as we approach Thanksgiving with temperatures in the 30s. Now, if today is your birthday, make it a great one. And here is the list.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And if you were with us at the top of the hour, we mentioned some power outages, and you were keeping an eye on them. And actually, Chenango County went down from 4,500 about an hour ago now to 4,100. Otsego County still about 1,400. Madison County with 1,500, and Oneida County just 226. Herkimer County 155. All due to that heavy snow and wet hitting these trees, bringing down power lines.
Yes, and again, it's elevation dependent. You know, in the Utica, Rome area, Mohawk Valley, those numbers are low. Of course, it's not really that snowing all too much, but you head to the southern valleys, it's snowing pretty good. Let's take a look at the current road conditions out there right now, because for the first time in a while, we're seeing lots of yellows and oranges. These are slowdowns or crawls on a lot of area roads in much of the southern valleys. But I do want to turn our attention to what's going on just outside of Paris. State Route 12 between Kellogg Street and Fountain Street is closed due to a tractor trailer blocking both lanes of travel. So if you are planning on using Route 12 heading out to work this morning, you're going to need to find a detour, because as of now, it looks as if this is not going to be opening anytime soon. So find a detour heading out to work, because Route 12 is closed between Kellogg Street and Fountain Street early this morning due to property damage involving a tractor trailer. Downtown Utica right now, again, with the warm layer near the surface, it hasn't really snowed all too much. The snow has been mixing in with rain showers, but you can see here a different story in Cooperstown where the snow has fallen. Same thing in Oneonta, a winter wonderland down in the city of the hills. Look at that right there. Quite a difference between Utica and in Oneonta early today. And elevation plays a key role. Those temperatures marginally above freezing, that's allowing that wet, heavy snow, of course, producing those outages, school closings, and of course, unfortunately, those accidents. So again, today, it's starting out rather active. Conditions will quiet down throughout the daytime hours. Still some lingering spotty rain and snow showers, but the heaviest of it does end. We'll also have a look at what you can expect for the weekend straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, Matt Gaetz is out.
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli.
The Cooperstown Camera is brought to you by Don's Ford of Utica.
A snowy scene down in Cooperstown early today. Good morning, everybody. We take a look at our photo of the day today on this Friday. This one takes us to a location in Bridgewater, and this was yesterday. The first official snowman of the season. This is the first submission we received so far. It's a small one, but thankfully this adorable dog right here points it out right there. And aside from the fact this is slushy, wet snow, this is actually probably a better snow type to make snowmen with how sticky the snow is. But this is an amazing photo right here sent in by Kathy. If you have your snowmen photos you want to submit to us, of course, feel free to send it to the link right there on the top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics. Of course, if your kids build that snowman, showcase the architects at work as well. You can, of course, include them in the picture, and we'll be sure to try to showcase it right here on News Channel 2 at sunrise, starting on the weekdays next week. Radar a little busy right now. Rain in the valley, snow in the higher elevations. We're talking a bit more about what is currently taking place right now and how things are going to shape up throughout the day today coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It was just about 2 years ago, Cazenovia College.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. Heading out the door early today, depending on your location, it could either be an easy commute through some wet roads or completely slushy conditions. That's the case in Oneonta right now. A very snowy scene down in the city of the hills, and the snow continues to fall, and we're not seeing at least a major end in sight for the snowfall, at least for the next couple of hours. Some of our sky watchers checking in with those snowfall totals across the region. First off, Bob and Clinton with a trace amount of snow. Mike in New Hartford with 5 or at least a half an inch of snow. A reporter in Secaucus with 6 inches of snow. Heading up into Old Forge, maybe about 1.5 inches from our Skywatcher Bill. Heading into the Mohawk Valley, no report so far, but the southern valleys up near Litchfield, that's reporting right around 9-10 inches of snow. 7 in Cooperstown, 5 in Edmiston, 14 in Westford. Those hilltops are where that bullseye is. And of course, Gary in Scnevis checking with 5 early this morning. That total has likely increased within the hour. The radar right now looking still pretty active. We've got rain in the valley, light to moderate snowfall for pretty much all of the southern valleys and parts of the North Country. The warm air has moved in a little bit up in the higher elevations up north of Utica, which has allowed that snow to continue to remelt and then fall, then remelt again, which is where some of our sky watchers are reporting up there. Zooming out, though, on the radar and satellite, we can see the behavior of the system here. This low pressure is going to be hooking its way slightly out to the west and then down to the south. It's going to gradually lose its intensity and fizzle apart as we head into the later hours of today. And that gives way to still a few isolated chances for snow and rain Saturday and Sunday after widespread rain and snow early this morning. We dry out, though, as we head into Monday. So here we are at the bigger picture here. That low pressure is going to spin and sputter for maybe the next 24 hours here in the Northeast, then head out to sea. And beyond that, we'll see conditions quiet down heading into Monday. But again, initially on Sunday, that lake effect machine will pick up a little bit not too much regarding snowfalls. Those temperatures are still looking to be on the warmer side. And so on our Skycast, widespread rain and snow this morning. The energy of the system begins to fizzle out, and we'll just see spotty rain and snow throughout the remainder of the day today. Less impactful. Should be weak enough snowfall rates to allow those road crews to go out and plow the roads, treat them. So I'm pretty sure those road conditions later on today will be much better than this morning. And so your 7-day forecast, a few areas of spotty light rain and snow Saturday, lake effect rain and snow Sunday, drying out Monday, and then we're back to unsettled conditions for the middle of next week. And on top of that as well, Thanksgiving looking cooler, temperatures in the upper 30s. And so far the next 5 to 7 days looking to be more late November-like. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The highly anticipated
Most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. Today, a winter wonderland for some, just a rainy start for others. Let's take a look at the radar and satellite and see how things are shaping up as this wintry system is moving through our first impactful wintry system of the season. This one takes us, or at least brings us, wet, heavy snow in the southern valleys and a mainly rain event in the Mohawk Valley with melting and accumulating snow here and there up in the North Country. Zooming out, this is all driven by a coastal low pressure. This low has strengthened compared to yesterday as that transfer of energy that we mentioned yesterday took place, and now it's wobbling inland before it's going to eventually depart out into the Atlantic. But with this system still churning over our area, we still could see additional snowfall in locations that already saw it and additional rain in the lower elevations that will start to warm up due to those warming daylight hours. Now, widespread rain and snow are expected today, but as we head into Saturday and Sunday, rain and snow showers won't be nearly as widespread, but still present here and there. So not a complete dry weekend. If you have any plans, well, you might want to have that umbrella handy just in case. Monday, though, looks to be when we dry out once more. So bigger picture, what's going on right now? Here's that low pressure, as I mentioned. It's going to wobble a little bit inland and then eventually hook its way back out to sea. It gets caught in the jet stream and it departs out east. Following Saturday, notice the wind pattern right here favors the potential for a few lake effect rain and snow showers into our area by Sunday. It's not going to be majorly impactful. Those temperatures aren't going to be cold enough to support intense lake effect snow, but enough to maybe produce a dusting, maybe a little bit more than a few inches on the ground in some higher elevations, and rain in the valleys. But let's turn the attention to our Skycast, because here we are early this morning with widespread rain and wet snow. Lots of outages this morning, lots of issues regarding slushy roads, school closures, all that sort. And as you can see here, as you head throughout the morning, the energy from this system begins to taper off. So we will see additional rain and snow showers throughout the morning, but they'll be spotty and lighter in nature. Even in the afternoon, I should say, is when we'll start to see even still unsettled conditions, but more quiet than snowy or rainy. And then following that by tonight, additional wraparound rain and light snow here and there, but for the most part, Saturday, things quiet down, mostly cloudy skies. A few light flurries and sprinkles here and there, but as we head into Saturday night and Sunday, that's when lake effect begins to pick up. Lake effect band in the southern valleys that brings snow, and then rain in the lower elevations in the valley where temperatures are still comfortably above freezing. And so your 7-day forecast following this weekend, Monday is looking dry. Unsettled conditions return a little bit as you approach Tuesday and Wednesday. And on top of that, Thanksgiving right now still looks a little bit on the cool side, high of 38 degrees, as more typical November-like weather moves in for the remainder of this month.
furniture legs can...
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. Today, a winter wonderland for some, just a rainy start for others. Let's take a look at the radar and satellite and see how things are shaping up as this wintry system is moving through our first impactful wintry system of the season. This one takes us, or at least brings us, wet, heavy snow in the southern valleys and a mainly rain event in the Mohawk Valley with melting and accumulating snow here and there up in the North Country. Zooming out, this is all driven by a coastal low pressure. This low has strengthened compared to yesterday as that transfer of energy that we mentioned yesterday took place. And now it's wobbling inland before it's going to eventually depart out into the Atlantic. But with this system still churning over our area, we still could see additional snowfall in locations that already saw it and additional rain in the lower elevations that will start to warm up due to those warming daylight hours. Now, widespread rain and snow are expected today, but as we head into Saturday and Sunday, rain and snow showers won't be nearly as widespread, but still present here and there. So not a complete dry weekend. If you have any plans, well, you might want to have that umbrella handy just in case. Monday, though, looks to be when we dry out once more. So bigger picture, what's going on right now? Here's that low pressure, as I mentioned. It's going to wobble a little bit inland and then eventually hook its way back out to sea. It gets caught in the jet stream and it departs out east. Following Saturday, notice the wind pattern right here favors the potential for a few lake effect rain and snow showers into our area by Sunday. It's not going to be majorly impactful. Those temperatures aren't going to be cold enough to support intense lake effect snow, but enough to maybe produce a dusting, maybe a little bit more than a few inches on the ground in some higher elevations, and rain in the valleys. But let's turn the attention to our skycast, because here we are early this morning with widespread rain and wet snow. Lots of outages this morning, lots of issues regarding slushy roads, school closures, all that sort. And as you can see here, as you head throughout the morning, the energy from this system begins to taper off. So we will see additional rain and snow showers throughout the morning, but they'll be spotty and lighter in nature. Even in the afternoon, I should say, is when we'll start to see even still unsettled conditions, but more quiet than snowy or rainy. And then following that by tonight, additional wraparound rain and light snow here and there. But for the most part, Saturday, things quiet down, mostly cloudy skies. A few light flurries and sprinkles here and there. But as we head into Saturday night and Sunday, that's when lake effect begins to pick up. Lake effect band in the southern valleys that brings snow and then rain in the lower elevations in the valley where temperatures are still comfortably above freezing. And so your 7-day forecast following this weekend, Monday is looking dry. Unsettled conditions return a little bit as you approach Tuesday and Wednesday. And on top of that, Thanksgiving right now still looks a little bit on the cool side, high of 38 degrees as more typical November-like weather moves in for the remainder of this month.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. Today, a winter wonderland for some, just a rainy start for others. Let's stick with the radar and satellite and see how things are shaping up as this wintry system is moving through our first impactful wintry system of the season. This one takes us, or at least brings us, wet, heavy snow in the southern valleys and a mainly rain event in the Mohawk Valley with melting and accumulating snow here and there up in the North Country. Zooming out, this is all driven by a coastal low pressure. This low has strengthened compared to yesterday as that transfer of energy that we mentioned yesterday took place, and now it's wobbling inland before it's going to eventually depart out into the Atlantic. But with this system still churning over our area, we still could see additional snowfall in locations that already saw it and additional rain in the lower elevations that will start to warm up due to those warming daylight hours. Now, widespread rain and snow are expected today, but as we head into Saturday and Sunday, rain and snow showers won't be nearly as widespread, but still present here and there. So not a complete dry weekend. If you have any plans, well, you might want to have that umbrella handy just in case. Monday, though, looks to be when we dry out once more. So bigger picture, what's going on right now? Here's that low pressure, as I mentioned. It's going to wobble a little bit inland and then eventually hook its way back out to sea. It gets caught in the jet stream and it departs out east. Following Saturday, notice the wind pattern right here favors the potential for a few lake effect rain and snow showers into our area by Sunday. It's not going to be majorly impactful. Those temperatures aren't going to be cold enough to support intense lake effect snow, but enough to maybe produce a dusting, maybe a little bit more than a few inches on the ground in some higher elevations, and rain in the valleys. But let's turn the attention to our skycast, because here we are early this morning with widespread rain and wet snow. Lots of outages this morning, lots of issues regarding slushy roads, school closures, all that sort. And as you can see here, as you head throughout the morning, the energy from this system begins to taper off. So we will see additional rain and snow showers throughout the morning, but they'll be spotty and lighter in nature. Even in the afternoon, I should say, is when we'll start to see even still unsettled conditions, but more quiet than snowy or rainy. And then following that by tonight, additional wraparound rain and light snow here and there, but for the most part, Saturday, things quiet down, mostly cloudy skies. A few light flurries and sprinkles here and there, but as you head into Saturday night and Sunday, that's when lake effect begins to pick up. Lake effect band in the southern valleys that brings snow and then rain in the lower elevations in the valley where temperatures are still comfortably above freezing. And so your 7-day forecast following this weekend, Monday is looking dry. Unsettled conditions return a little bit as you approach Tuesday and Wednesday. And on top of that, Thanksgiving right now still looks a little bit on the cool side, high of 38 degrees as more typical November-like weather moves in for the remainder of this month.
News with Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric.
And boy, have we seen our share of pictures sent in from many places around the viewing area, including this one down in Middlefield. Gorgeous scene.
Yeah, Otsego County saw the heaviest of the snowfall overnight. Matter of fact, let's take a live look outside right now in Oneonta, where the snow is still falling. Now, just to give you an idea of the highest totals, the bullseye here locally were in 2 spots, but primarily in eastern Otsego County, up near, say, Westford, up near Skenevis, Maryland. Those locations picked up over a foot of wet, heavy snow. Now, on top of that, also, there were some reports of outages as well in the thousands. We'll get to, of course, the latest numbers on that coming up in just a minute. But Oneonta is snowing out right now. Cooperstown, a few flurries flying, but not nearly as snowy of a scene. And then lastly, in downtown Utica, almost no snow at all. We're looking at somewhat damp conditions out there right now, and a few clouds, even a peak of blue sky here and there as the eye of the system is approaching us to the south and east. Currently 40 degrees in downtown Utica, so with those temperatures, snow is not going to be falling for the near term. But as you can see here, some outlying areas in the higher elevations are still seeing some snow. Zooming out, here's that broad area of low pressure. It almost looks like, again, an eye of a hurricane, and it's going to continue to wobble westward and then push its way east and weaken as we head into the next day or so. So as you can see here, next 12 hours, spotty rain and snow showers coming to an end, drying out, but for the most part tomorrow. But again, we're talking about the latest details in that weekend forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. With that heavy snow came a lot of power outages. Check this out right here. Shenango County, nearly 26,000 people still without power at this hour, many of those in Norwich. And down in Otsego County here locally, more than 3,100 without power, most in Oneonta, Cooperstown, Unadilla, and Otsego. And in Madison County, more than 1,000 folks without power in places like Brookfield, Eaton, and Madison. Oneida County seeing about 515, mostly in Sangerfield and Augusta, and just 137 outages in Herkimer County. And some in our area, like right here in the town of Paris, saw close to a foot of snow. Looks like winter is in full swing down there already. We caught up with people brushing off their cars, shoveling, snow blowing. The morning rain actually made that job much more difficult, weighing down that snow even more, but no complaints here.
Oh, it's very heavy. The snowblower wouldn't move most of it, so you had to shovel it. So, yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Time to go rest.
It's winter.
It's winter, right? That's what you get in New York.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I'm glad it's the middle of November instead of the beginning, that's all.
Now, the town of Paris saw a total of around 9 inches of snow overnight, with some higher elevations in the town reporting about a foot. Well, many Americans are already heading out of town.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our first decent snowfall of the season for some of us. Others didn't quite see any snow at all. Again, this was largely an elevation-based system, and sure enough, it played out just like that. Live look in Oneonta right now. The snow is falling in some spots, and we'll get to the official highest snowfall totals across our area in just a second. But let's take a quick look at the radar right now, see how things are shaping up. Here we are with the rain in the lower elevations and snow in the higher elevations. This is probably one of the most extreme cases of elevation plays a key role that we've seen in at least quite some time. Zooming out here, here's the area of rotation with that low pressure. Dare I say it, the eye of the snowstorm, but again, the wall of the outer band here produces some pretty significant snowfall rates just to the west of Binghamton, but here locally, just a few spotty rain and snow showers. So how about those totals? Well, here we are. We have 16 inches in Maryland and Otsego County. Otsego checking in with 10 inches. Paris in Oneida County with 8.5, Oneonta 7.5, Salisbury Center in Herkimer County at 1.3 inches, and a trace amount of snow in Westmoreland. So just look at that difference depending on elevation. I would say a difference of maybe a little over 300, maybe 400 feet made a difference between seeing rain and seeing over a foot of wet, clumpy snow. So again, this is one of those events that sometimes happens where we have these very close to freezing temperatures, and Mother Nature has a very difficult time producing snow in the lower elevations. So throughout this afternoon and this evening, temperatures will cool from the low 40s down into the 30s overnight. Things also gradually quieting down as well. Throughout the weekend, what can you expect? Well, a cool weekend and a few more clouds in the sky as well. Saturday, mostly cloudy. Sunday, same story, but Sunday is our best shot for seeing additional lingering lake effect rain and snow. That, of course, dries out as we approach Monday. But here we are with that low pressure, which is going to wobble for a little bit in the southern portion of New York State before eventually departing out to the Atlantic. Now notice here the wind pattern favoring lake effect rain and snow as we head into Sunday. And so in our skycast this morning, widespread rain and snow turning to a few scattered rain and snow showers throughout the afternoon, gradually drying out again even more by tonight, maybe a passing light shower or flurry. And then by Saturday, mostly cloudy, again, passing light shower or flurry. Then the wind shifts to a more northwesterly flow, and that's when we could see the potential for lake effect rain and snow take shape over our region. So again, your 7-day forecast looking at temperatures in the 40s and 30s throughout the weekend, a cool one and an unsettled one. And as we approach Monday and Tuesday next week, Monday looks dry. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit more unsettled, cutting it close for rain and snow on Thanksgiving. It's going to be a cool one, 30s, but just a heads up that we're not going to be seeing a balmy 70-degree day in sunshine for Thanksgiving. So we'll keep everyone posted on the weather trend for next week.
Changing of the seasons is here.
Yep, here we are with winter on the way.
Finally, right?
A little delayed, but here she is.
Eric, thanks. Well, coming up to sing. Good afternoon once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour of News Channel 2 at noon. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And those picks, boy, they just keep coming in. Where's this one from?
This one is from Waterville, and I think this one gave me a little bit of a laugh here, too. The title goes, "No Patio Picnic Today." And I think you might be right. Let's take that full screen here. I think it might be a little difficult to eat some dinner out there on that patio today, don't you think? Oh, maybe you can sweep off some of that snow there and a nice balmy few 32 degrees out there at this point. But yes, this is taken in Waterville by Mary Ellen Sanderson. So amazing photo taken right here. Oneonta live view right now. It's a snowy scene down there. 7.5 inches have fallen in the city earlier today, and there still might be a few more flurries falling in the air throughout this afternoon and this evening. A snowy start to the day in Cooperstown as well, but so far, the roads have improved dramatically as expected. A big thank you, of course, to all the hardworking road crews out there today that have made this possible, working hard even during the overnight hours to keep your roads clear. Downtown Utica right now, 42. It wasn't cold enough to produce anything to really accumulate in the city. So you can really see the stark contrast when you talk about the lower elevations versus the higher elevations, where some spots in the hilltops saw over a foot of snow. Live look at the radar right now. We're in the midst of this area of rotation, which is the center of that low pressure early this afternoon. And this, of course, will be weakening and then departing out to the Atlantic. So again, today it's going to be in the 40s, spotty rain in the valley, spotty snow showers in the higher elevations. By tonight, we'll be drying out, cooling down into the 30s, and we'll still be seeing the potential for rain and snow throughout the weekend. We'll talk about those chances coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. 6 foreign tourists, including...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our first winter event of the year, first notable winter event of the year, has rolled through our area earlier today, and not all of us saw that winter weather. Matter of fact, in Oneonta, those of you in the city of the hills definitely saw that winter snow earlier this morning, or I should say fall snow. Winter is still just, I would say, near a month or so away. But in downtown Utica, it was a different story. Nearly all rain event with really only a trace amount of snow here and there, if that. Now the radar is still looking rather busy. Zooming out a little bit here on the radar, we can see the circulation of this low pressure at this point. It's wobbled its way inland and it's really losing its energy. In systems like this, when it moves over land and it sits still, there's not a lot of forcing involved with it. It gathers strength when it's over the ocean, but as you can see here, it's going to gradually fall apart. But we're still going to see a few spotty rain and snow showers across the area today. Highest snowfall totals were reported up in the higher elevations in Otsego County, Maryland, with 16 inches of snow, Otego with 10, Paris and Oneida County with 8.5. Other locations in Paris, by the way, we're nearing a foot of snow as well. Oneonta 7.5, Salisbury Center in Herkimer County at 1.3, and trace amounts of snow in Westmoreland. So one of the most extreme examples here of elevation means everything. You go between 300 to 400 feet in elevation, you go from this to over a foot of snow. Now, throughout the day today, it's going to be in the 40s in the Mohawk Valley, 30s in the higher elevations. We'll cool back down into the 30s for all of us overnight tonight with spotty rain, spotty snow showers. It's going to be somewhat unsettled Saturday and Sunday. Not a complete snowy or rainy day, but just a heads up that we're going to be seeing some isolated rain and snow both days of the week. More so, or weekend, more so with Sunday before we dry out again on Monday. And so that low will sputter here and there, and then eventually exit the Atlantic as we approach Sunday. And notice here, lake effect forms off the Great Lakes heading into Sunday afternoon. And so in our Skycast today, the snow and rain showers begin to taper off. We'll see a passing light shower or snow shower tonight. Then by tomorrow, mostly cloudy, an isolated sprinkle or flurry here and there. And then by Saturday night into Sunday, that's when that lake effect begins to form. Again, snow in the higher elevations, rain in the valley. Might be a broken record with the amount of times we've said it over the past few days, but that's the case again heading into the weekend. Additional snowfall, by the way, negligible, maybe a trace to 1-2 inches in the highest elevations throughout the day today and into the overnight hours. And so your 7-day forecast, well, we got 40s and 30s over the weekend, somewhat unsettled, no major warm-up heading into Thanksgiving or even the days before. Matter of fact, we're going to get close with some rain and snow. I know there's some talk of a winter storm arriving. Still, the signal's too messy for that, but what I can tell you is we're not going to be seeing 70s and sunshine. I know Bill is probably looking at what's going on up here. He's in Florida right now, probably laughing at, or at least enjoying the sunshine and 70s.
He'll be back soon enough.
Yeah.
Eric, thanks. Well, it's been so warm this fall that lilacs have begun blooming at Highland Park in Rochester. Home of the big annual Lilac Festival, which takes place in the spring. Reporter Tom Kowalski from Rochester NBC affiliate WHEC has more.
It's been a warm November for Rochester. If no snow falls by Thursday, it will be the latest into the month the Flower City has gone without seeing any powder. Now, usually by this time this year, Highland Park here is covered in at least some form of snow, or at least it seems some form of snow. But instead, let me show you this. Blooming flowers here in Rochester, here in November.
Never seen it this late where we still had flowers blooming.
I mean, first thought, I'm just like, oh, that's pretty. I love that. I wish it stayed all year. I hate the cold, so I like when it gets put off, but it's probably not good. It's probably a bad sign if the seasons are off.
Rochesterians aren't the only ones thrown off. Florist and gardener Samantha Dattilo says this is a first for her as well.
I actually do landscaping as another job. I work under a master gardener, and all this season we were talking about how everything was blooming, and it was absolutely wild. The weeds were growing, things were sprouting, there's been new growth on trees that shouldn't be there this time of year. It's unheard of for me.
Dattilo says she's concerned at how the warm weather will affect the plants going forward.
The plants are clearly confused, thinking it's spring for some reason. I'm worried it's going to confuse their dormancy cycles. I do know that like when our agricultural trees get a hard frost on their buds, it affects the crop. So I can imagine this is going to have some kind of implications for next year.
A dormancy cycle acts like an animal entering hibernation. It's necessary for plants to survive throughout the winter and into the spring.
If this continues to be a thing for the rest of forever, then that's another thing. We're going to lose a lot of species, a lot of diversity here, because they need their dormancy periods to survive. These junipers, for example, that people buy, and then they're like, why is it dying? And it's because it's not a houseplant. It needs dormancy. It needs to be cold. It needs to freeze.
And that was Tom Kowalski reporting from...
A minute to keep your family safe.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, quite the snow has fallen in a lot of our area. Well, primarily in the southern valleys. Most of us in the Mohawk Valley were relatively snow-free, but the radar earlier today, this is what we saw around 1 o'clock, and that's where we're seeing that area of low pressure broadly rotating over, say, the Catskill area, and it was producing some snow showers in the higher elevations and rain in the valleys. Now, as we head throughout the day today, we'll still be seeing a few spotty rain and snow showers, but the intensity will drop off as that fuel for the system gradually diminishes. But let's talk about those snowfall totals. Quite the difference based off of elevation here. We got 16 inches reported in Maryland and Otsego County. Quite the number there. But I think the main thing is you head down to, say, Westmoreland, only a trace amount of snowfall. As you can see here, elevation played a very important role in the totals overnight and this morning. And a difference of between maybe a few hundred feet made the difference between, say, no snow at all or over a foot. So quite the contrast here today. And on top of that, that snow was wet, it was heavy, and it produced some power outages, a few thousand earlier today in primarily the southern valleys near the Catskill areas. Delaware County was the main area where most of those outages took place. Now, temperatures throughout the day will be peaking in the low 40s, cooling down to the 30s overnight tonight, and then rain and snow showers, hit or miss overnight into tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day, and then a few chances for some light sprinkles and flurries here and there. Sunday is where we could see our next chance of some lake effect rain and snow. Again, elevation dependent, but following that we do dry out though as you look ahead to Monday. And so, bigger picture, here we are with that low pressure, which is just wobbling in the northeast right now. It is going to extend its way out to the east as we head into Saturday and into Sunday. But notice here, some lake effect starting to pop up right there over central New York on Sunday. So this morning, we saw widespread rain and snowfall. This afternoon, well, it's gradually tapering off. The fuel for the system is diminishing. Temperatures are climbing, and so a lot of this wet snow will more than certainly melt here and there over the next day or so. But then Saturday, it's a cool one. Upper 30s, low 40s, mostly cloudy, in fact, generally overcast, and then a chance of a few flurries and light sprinkles. But then again, as that wind shifts, here we are with lake effect rain and snow for early Sunday morning, and then that lake effect might persist throughout the day. We'll keep a close eye on the snowfall south of the Mohawk Valley, but I think the conditions in the atmosphere don't support significant snowfall, maybe just a few extra inches of a light dusting here and there. But your 7-day forecast, in fact, before we get a 7-day forecast, additional snowfall today will be generally light as we look maybe 1-2 inches tops in some of the highest of elevations. But now to your 7-day forecast. Again, this weekend's looking a little bit unsettled, a little cool. Monday looking dry as we approach Thanksgiving next week. It's a hit or miss. Up in the air right now based off of that weather pattern where we're going to be seeing either some light rain, light snow, a mix of both. We'll keep you posted as those conditions do get more certain as more data does come in.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, quite the snow has fallen in a lot of our area. Well, primarily in the southern valleys. Most of us in the Mohawk Valley were relatively snow-free, but the radar earlier today, this is what we saw around 1 o'clock, and that's where we're seeing that area of low pressure broadly rotating over, say, the Catskill area, and was producing some snow showers in the higher elevations and rain in the valleys. Now, as we head throughout the day today, we'll still be seeing a few spotty rain and snow showers, but the intensity will drop off as that fuel for the system gradually diminishes. But let's talk about those snowfall totals. Quite the difference based off of elevation here. We got 16 inches reported in Maryland and Otsego County. Quite the number there. But I think the main thing is you head down to, say, Westmoreland, only a trace amount of snowfall. As you can see here, elevation played a very important role in the totals overnight and this morning. And a difference of between maybe a few hundred feet made the difference between, say, no snow at all or over a foot. So quite the contrast here today. And on top of that, that snow was wet, it was heavy, and it produced some power outages, a few thousand earlier today in primarily the southern valleys near the Catskill areas. Delaware County was the main area where most of those outages took place. Now, temperatures throughout the day will be peaking in the low 40s, cooling down to the 30s overnight tonight, and then rain and snow showers, hit or miss overnight into tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day, and then a few chances for some light sprinkles and flurries here and there. Sunday is where we could see our next chance of some lake effect rain and snow. Again, elevation dependent, but following that, we do dry out though as you look ahead to Monday. And so, bigger picture, here we are with that low pressure, which is just wobbling in the northeast right now. It is going to extend its way out to the east as we head into Saturday and into Sunday. But notice here, some lake effect starting to pop up right there over central New York on Sunday. So this morning, we saw widespread rain and snowfall. This afternoon, well, it's gradually tapering off. The fuel for the system is diminishing. Temperatures are climbing, and so a lot of this wet snow will more than certainly melt here and there over the next day or so. But then Saturday, it's a cool one. Upper 30s, low 40s, mostly cloudy. In fact, generally overcast, and then chance of a few flurries and light sprinkles. But then again, as that wind shifts, here we are with lake effect rain and snow for early Sunday morning, and then that lake effect might persist throughout the day. We'll keep a close eye on the snowfall south of the Mohawk Valley, but I think the conditions in the atmosphere don't support significant snowfall, maybe just a few extra inches of a light dusting here and there. But your 7-day forecast, in fact, before we get a 7-day forecast, additional snowfall today will be generally light as we look maybe 1-2 inches tops in some of the highest of elevations. But now to your 7-day forecast. Again, this weekend's looking a little bit unsettled, a little cool. Monday looking dry as we approach Thanksgiving next week. It's a hit or miss. Up in the air right now based off of that weather pattern where we're going to be seeing either some light rain, light snow, a mix of both. We'll keep you posted as those conditions do get more certain as more data does come in.
The New Hartford Fire Department.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, quite the snow has fallen in a lot of our area. Well, primarily in the southern valleys. Most of us in the Mohawk Valley were relatively snow-free, but the radar earlier today, this is what we saw around 1 o'clock, and that's where we're seeing that area of low pressure broadly rotating over, say, the Catskill area, and it was producing some snow showers in the higher elevations and rain in the valleys. Now, as we head throughout the day today, we'll still be seeing a few spotty rain and snow showers, but the intensity will drop off as that fuel for the system gradually diminishes. But let's talk about those snowfall totals. Quite the difference based off of elevation here. We got 16 inches reported in Maryland and Otsego County. Quite the number there. But I think the main thing is you head down to, say, Westmoreland, only a trace amount of snowfall. As you can see here, elevation played a very important role in the totals overnight and this morning. And a difference of between maybe a few hundred feet made the difference between, say, no snow at all or over a foot. So quite the contrast here today. And on top of that, that snow was wet, it was heavy, and it produced some power outages, a few thousand earlier today in primarily the southern valleys near the Catskill areas. Delaware County was the main area where most of those outages took place. Now, temperatures throughout the day will be peaking in the low 40s, cooling down to the 30s overnight tonight, and then rain and snow showers, hit or miss overnight into tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day, and then a few chances for some light sprinkles and flurries here and there. Sunday is where we could see our next chance of some lake effect rain and snow. Again, elevation dependent, but following that we do dry out though as you look ahead to Monday. And so, bigger picture, here we are with that low pressure, which is just wobbling in the northeast right now. It is going to extend its way out to the east as we head into Saturday and into Sunday. But notice here, some lake effect starting to pop up right there over central New York on Sunday. So this morning, we saw widespread rain and snowfall. This afternoon, well, it's gradually tapering off. The fuel for the system is diminishing. Temperatures are climbing, and so a lot of this wet snow will more than certainly melt here and there over the next day or so. But then Saturday, it's a cool one. Upper 30s, low 40s, mostly cloudy, in fact, generally overcast, and then a chance of a few flurries and light sprinkles. But then again, as that wind shifts, here we are with lake effect rain and snow for early Sunday morning, and then that lake effect might persist throughout the day. We'll keep a close eye on the snowfall south of the Mohawk Valley, but I think the conditions in the atmosphere don't support significant snowfall, maybe just a few extra inches of a light dusting here and there. But your 7-day forecast, in fact, before we get a 7-day forecast, additional snowfall today will be generally light as we look maybe 1-2 inches tops in some of the highest of elevations. But now to your 7-day forecast. Again, this weekend's looking a little bit unsettled, a little cool. Monday looking dry as we approach Thanksgiving next week. It's a hit or miss. Up in the air right now based off of that weather pattern where we're going to be seeing either some light rain, light snow, a mix of both. We'll keep you posted as those conditions do get more certain as more data does come in.
Not enough light to lose with Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
Heavy wet snow this morning has more than 4,000 homes in Otsego County still dealing with power outages.
New York State Electric and Gas says crews will work nonstop until every customer has power again, but they warn this could be a multi-day outage. We are still under a winter weather advisory. Meteorologist James DeFazio begins our coverage tonight, tracking from the Weather Center.
What a difference just a short distance can make, huh? That's absolutely crazy. They got absolutely blasted to our south, but we woke up to just green grass here in Utica. The weekend forecast, though, going to be much more mild than what we had to deal with over the last 24 hours. That 82 is supposed to be 43. I'm not sure where that 82 came from, but we're forecasting 43 for the high Saturday and Sunday. Isolated shower, but a mostly cloudy day on Saturday. Sunday, a little bit more of a steadier precipitation with a mix of rain and snow expected. Downtown Utica right now, just wet roadways. Sun has set. We're still dealing with those early sunsets, but we're getting closer to when they start to get a little bit later, another week or two. Scattered rain and snow showers this evening, isolated showers Saturday, but overall mostly cloudy. And then lake effect showers develop on Sunday, and we'll get into detail and what you can expect for that. Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar right now. Some scattered light rain and snow showers, especially to the east of Utica, and they're continuing to swing in from east to west, and that is just going to continue over the next couple of hours, and then that will wind down as we head into the overnight. 39 degrees and cloudy up in Rome, currently not precipitating out in Rome. Tonight, we're expecting rain, possibly a snowflake or two, a low of 31 degrees. We'll have more details on that full forecast and exactly what to expect with that lake effect coming up soon. Kristen, Jason?
All right, James, thank you. Many of you, depending on where you live, had to add shoveling or snow blowing to your morning routine. We caught up with a bunch of people shoveling in Paris, where some spots saw up to a foot of snow. As the day went on, heavy snow in some spots turned that shoveling into real grunt work.
Oh, it's very heavy. The snowblower wouldn't move most of it, so you had to shovel it. So, yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Time to go rest.
It's winter.
It's winter, right? That's what you get in New York.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I'm glad it's the middle of November instead of the beginning, that's all.
9 to 12 inches in Paris and Paris Hill.
The good news with the snow, the Otsego County burn ban is canceled, but New York State still has one relative to open burns, and that's in effect until at least November 30th. The Otsego County Office of Emergency Services put its order in place last month due to dry conditions.
Severe weather is bringing snow, rain, wind, and power outages to multiple states on both coasts today and into the weekend. Laura Aguirre reports on the fallout.
Power outages, downed trees, flooded roads, and widespread damage to homes and businesses, the result of a wicked weather week for large parts of the Pacific Northwest, one that started with a deadly bomb cyclone that fueled back-to-back atmospheric river events, with the forecast showing several inches of rain and snow still to come across multiple states through Saturday.
We've got several more days of this, so major cleanup, or the bigger cleanup will have to be after the storm passes.
Many residents aren't waiting for the cavalry to arrive.
This is my generator set up. I just have a piece of plywood over it to keep the rain off it.
Some with power are setting up neighborhood phone charging hubs or helping to clear toppled trees from roads and driveways.
Yes, so. Our parents basically raised us to put other people first.
In the higher elevations, the week's winter storm dump was a boon as several ski resorts opened.
It's just going to be a great day out on the slopes.
To the northeast, where a number of states received their first significant snowfall of the season.
This is an official National Weather Service snow stick, and right now we're up to 13.1 inches of new snow.
Other high marks in Pennsylvania and New York reached between 14 and 16 inches. Nearly 8 million people are under winter storm alerts that stretch through the region into the Appalachian Mountains through tomorrow. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
A Camden man accused of strangling his girlfriend to death in August.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good evening. We got our first widespread snowfall last night, or at least the majority of central New York did. It was quite a variance across the area depending on your location. Let's take a look at some of the numbers that we received. We got reports of snowfall in Shenango and Otsego counties, 10 to 16 inches of snowfall, some very high snowfall totals. Even in southern Oneida County, Paris, 8.5 inches was reported, Oneonta 7.5. Just a trace though in Westmoreland, I measured about 0.4 inches at my house in Utica this morning, right before it started to melt. This weekend though, we're expecting much more mild weather. While it may not be too warm or beautiful, we're expecting a high of 43 for both days this weekend. An isolated shower, but primarily mostly cloudy for Saturday. On Sunday, a little bit more steadier rain-snow mix, becoming potentially a little bit of a pure lake effect snow band, and we're keeping an eye on that in the second half of Sunday. Taking a look right now at downtown Utica, nothing but just wet roadways out there. It is not currently raining in downtown Utica. However, it will be soon, as you'll see on the radar. It's currently 39 degrees in Rome, also dry, cloudy currently as well. However, across the state, there are areas that are seeing snowfall still. Binghamton, still snowing. Hamilton, still snowing. Rainfall back out to the west. Mid-30s to upper 30s across central New York. Big area of low pressure that is still spinning over us. This is going to slide to the east finally over the next several hours, and that is going to allow us to eventually dry out. Taking a look at the skycast for this evening, showers begin to dwindle down. We begin to dry out as we head towards Saturday morning. There are still some areas of sprinkle and drizzle, especially during the day on Saturday. The overnight is primarily dry. However, during the day on Saturday, you can see here at 5 p.m., we have that rogue shower rolling through. As we move towards Sunday morning and Saturday night, we have lake moisture that begins to move in from the west. As that lake moisture begins to move in, we have a lake effect band develop off the lake, and it begins to settle in across central Oneida County for most of Sunday morning through midday Sunday, and then it starts to dwindle down Sunday afternoon. Temperatures are again right around the freezing marks, so we're expecting another elevation-based event. Tonight, scattered rain and snow with a low of 31 degrees. 7-day forecast, we're having that rain-snow mix on Sunday, possible light accumulation in the same areas that saw the highest snow totals these past couple days. We dry out on Monday, and then we have more wintry weather arriving for Wednesday and Thursday, just in time for Thanksgiving. We have a very real chance at a white Thanksgiving this year. So that is one thing we are going to be tracking over the next couple of days.
Well, I mean, the silver lining here is maybe everyone's at their destination and not traveling that day.
Exactly.
Let's hope.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Lebanese independent.
Get you back to the Weather Center and meteorologist James DeFazio.
What a difference just a couple of miles can make, and what a couple hundred feet in elevation can do. Westmoreland, just a trace of snow, but Paris, only a 10-minute drive away, 8.5 inches. It was a quite a variance in the amount of snow that we saw last night across the area. Expecting much more pleasant weather this weekend. An isolated shower possible Saturday, but otherwise mostly cloudy. Some lake effect showers Sunday, but again, temperatures are going to be marginal. So again, nothing is really going to add up to very much in the Mohawk Valley. It's going to continue to be above freezing for everyone. We're tracking scattered rain and snow showers that are still lingering from this area of low pressure that are slowly winding down. The isolated shower or two across the day on Saturday, and then lake effect showers develop Sunday morning. Here's that Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. You can see that low pressure still spinning in just a little bit of a wet rain-snow mix from the south and east. Just 39 and cloudy up in Rome, dry conditions there. We do anticipate a primarily dry day tomorrow. There is the chance for an isolated shower throughout the day, but by no washout by any sense of the means. We'll have a look at the full forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. Kristen, Chase?
All right, thank you, James. News Channel 2 and Rozier Communications Stuff the Bus, kicking off a
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good evening. We still have some lingering rain and snow showers across central New York. However, things have calmed down immensely from what we saw last night. It is quite a juxtaposition. We saw quite a variance across our area. We saw anywhere from no to 16 inches of snow. Some areas over a very short distance, just a couple of miles between Westmoreland and Paris, and that's almost a 9-inch difference of snowfall. It was a very, very big difference based on your elevation, location, where the heaviest band set up last night. A very variable spread in measurement. This weekend, we're expecting an isolated shower possible on Saturday, but for the most part, mostly cloudy day. A lake effect snow shower or rain shower. We're expecting a rain-snow mix on Sunday with temperatures each day with a high in the low 40s, right around 43 degrees. Downtown Utica right now, wet roadways because we do still have some lingering showers as this area of low pressure continues to spin off to the east. It'll eventually get off to the east, but it'll unfortunately at the time change our wind direction and bring us in that lake moisture. 39 degrees and cloudy and dry up in Rome, an 8-mile-an-hour wind making a wind chill of 33 degrees. So cloudy skies being reported across the area. Some snowflakes continuing down here in Binghamton. They have been getting hit quite hard down there. Step off to the side here, Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Still see some of these showers that are moving in from the south and east. These are going to continue to weaken over the next several hours and eventually wind down to more very isolated sporadic showers this evening. Our area of low pressure is going to continue to move to the east, and as it does so, it will change our wind into a more westerly direction. As we move forward tonight, things do calm down. The showers become much more sporadic. The second half of the night looks just mostly cloudy. By tomorrow morning, some patchy areas of very light drizzle begin to show up. As we move into the afternoon, we start to see some more isolated and scattered showers, some more organized showers around 5 p.m. And then as we move into the evening, we can start to see that lake effect moisture begin to move into central New York as the winds come in from the northwesterly direction. That lake effect band sets up right across Oneida County, and it's going to sit there right through Sunday morning, through about midday, and then through the second half of Sunday, it begins to fall apart and weaken out to nothing. Tonight, we're expecting 31 degrees for a low. Scattered rain, snow showers for the first half of the night. Much drier second half of the night with just cloudy conditions. Tomorrow, 43, an isolated shower, but for the most part, mostly cloudy. Most areas stay dry. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast, we're expecting those scattered wet rain and snow showers on Sunday. Monday, a dry day. We dry out with cloudy skies. Tuesday, more widespread rainfall arrives. Wednesday, we have another rain-snow mix. Thursday as well, the weather remains unsettled for Thanksgiving, and then possibly snow showers for Friday. We'll be right back.
With Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
Some of our neighbors woke up to more than a foot of snow today. Others saw none.
Yeah, the hilltops of eastern Otsego County, like Maryland and Westford, were hit hard, and more than 4,000 homes still without power and could be into the weekend in Otsego County. Meteorologist James DeFazio has the latest now.
Quite a difference depending on where you were located last night or exactly what your elevation was. We saw quite a large variance in snowfall, anywhere from none to even well over an inch. Some areas saw up to even 18 inches of snow out down to the south and east of Utica in the southern hills and the southern valleys. And as you can see here on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, some areas still seeing snowfall, especially to the south of Utica. Broome County, Otsego County, still seeing plenty of light snowfall. Even portions of central Herkimer County are still seeing some light snowfall. Here in the Mohawk Valley, though, just that wet rain-snow mix, if not all rain at all. Very damp and dreary down in downtown Utica right now. This weekend, an isolated shower is possible on Saturday, but for the most part, we're expecting just a mostly cloudy day. Sunday, lake effect showers develop. It's going to be a similar story with an elevation-driven snowfall. High temperature each day around 43 degrees. Currently at Rome, 38 degrees. That light rain has finally slid in from the east. We are expecting like I said, just an isolated shower. No washout by any sense of the matter. All in all, a mostly cloudy day. We'll have the details on the full forecast coming up in a couple of minutes. Kristen, Jason?
All right, James, thank you. Again, depending on where you live, you had to shovel or snowblow this morning. We caught up with a bunch of people doing that in Paris. Some spots saw up to a foot of snow, and as the day went on, heavy snow in some spots turned that shoveling into real grunt work.
Oh, it's very heavy. The snowblower wouldn't move most of it, so you had to shovel it. So, yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Time to go rest.
It's winter.
It's winter, right? That's what you get in New York.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I'm glad it's the middle of November instead of the beginning, that's all.
9 to 12 inches in this area.
The good news with the snow, the Otsego County burn ban is canceled, but New York State still has one relative to open burns, and that's in effect until at least October 30th. The Otsego County Office of Emergency Services put its order in place last month due to dry conditions.
Firefighters made quick work of a garage.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good evening. Still tracking scattered rain and snow showers across central New York. Nothing quite like what we dealt with last night. We saw some impressive numbers. Looking at the snowfall totals, down in the hills of Otsego County, saw some incredibly impressive numbers. So we saw some reports of 10 to even 18 inches of snow, double-digit amounts in November. Very impressive. Very big differences over small distances as well. Only a trace of snow being reported in Westmoreland. In Paris, not too far away, 8.5 inches. It was quite a difference over a short distance, quite different conditions over a short distance. This weekend we're expecting just an isolated shower on Saturday, but overall a mostly cloudy day, more dry than wet for sure. On Sunday, lake effect rain showers, especially for the first half of the day, most of the day, a much more wet day than Saturday. Each day we're expecting a high of around 43. Right now in downtown Utica, still seeing those wet rain showers, wet road conditions still are prevalent across central New York. As we'll take a look here on the radar, this low pressure center continues to spin right on top of us. Light rain has finally slid in from the east into Rome. Light rain being reported at 38 degrees. Just a light breeze, not too much of a wind chill factor. Across the state, plenty of cloudy skies being reported, even if it's not raining or snowing at that station. As you can see, we still have this swath of rain and snow mix moving in from the south and east, and this is going to continue over the next several hours. This area of low pressure will continue to slide to the east through the overnight and into tomorrow, and it will eventually change our wind direction, which is going to bring in that lake effect for Sunday. Taking a look at the skycast, on Friday into Saturday, showers wind down by the middle of the night. By 3 a.m., we are looking at partly cloudy skies, mainly dry conditions. By Saturday morning, just mostly cloudy skies with a few areas of patchy drizzle. So we move forward through Saturday, those areas of drizzle become a little bit more prevalent. As we head towards the evening hours, we start to see some more scattered showers show up. Scattered showers through the evening hours, and then here comes that lake moisture as we get the northwest wind. We'll have lake showers around through Sunday, or through Saturday evening into Sunday morning, and as well through Sunday midday before things begin to wind down Sunday afternoon. We are not expecting anything too crazy in terms of accumulation due to the temperature, but at the hilltops that saw heavy amounts last night, an inch or two absolutely possible. Tonight, 31 degrees, scattered rain, snow showers lingering for a few more hours. Tomorrow, an isolated shower or two, otherwise mostly cloudy. 7-day forecast. We finally dry out on Monday with just cloudy conditions, and then we have widespread rainfall on Tuesday. More unsettled weather, a very unsettled weather pattern continues as we move towards the second half of the work week. We stay very unsettled. Thanksgiving looks like a rain-snow mix, and maybe even a pure snow for Black Friday.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Thank you, James. Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6. Spencer.
News with Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. The snow has finally stopped everywhere. Some of us got nothing, others nearly a foot. All about elevation in this one. Let's get right over to meteorologist James DeFazio for a look at the weekend ahead. And the numbers don't lie here, right?
No, these are some impressive numbers, and I mean, it starts all the way down at a trace, which is basically nothing, and goes all the way up to 16 inches. We got basically the kitchen sink last night. Very, very wide variation in terms of weather conditions across a very small distances. Downtown Utica right now, nothing but wet roadways. However, I do want to recommend if you are going to travel tonight, it is getting close to that freezing mark. Any untreated surfaces are going to be slick. Tomorrow we're expecting showers, but very isolated, more on the sprinkle and flurry side of shower. More cloudy than anything. Lake effect showers develop midday on Sunday, and we'll have more on that coming up in the full weather. Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. You can still see those remnants from the low pressure system that brought us all this snowfall still spinning off to our south and east, and this is going to continue to slide off to the east and into the Atlantic Ocean. Currently 32 degrees up in Rome with mostly clear skies, calm winds being reported. Tonight we're expecting a low around 29 degrees. Showers are winding down, and we're expecting just mostly cloudy skies for the remainder of the night. We'll have more details on the rest of your weekend forecast and your next snow chances coming up soon. Jason?
All right, James, thank you. New tonight, a New Hartford man is in trouble with the law for a second.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Sorry, I'm not Bill. James here tonight, but I do have your forecast for you. Let's take a look. It's been a wild 24 to 36 hours. Look at these snowfall totals. It is a big variation depending on location, especially in elevation-driven snowfall. Down in Westmoreland and lower elevations on the I-90 corridor, some places didn't record any measurable snow, where we had places up in the hills of Otsego County that saw 12 to 18 inches of accumulation. It was quite a substantial event for some. For this weekend, we are not expecting anything of that sort. Tomorrow, an isolated shower is possible, especially in the afternoon hours. However, the majority of the day is going to be dry. It'll primarily be a cloudy day. On Sunday, we expect lake effect rain and snow showers to develop early in the morning, and those are going to persist through midday into the evening. Both days, we're expecting a high in the low to mid 40s. We're at around 43 degrees. Right now in downtown Utica, just some wet roadways. However, due to the temperature, I do want to make everyone aware, please be careful out there tonight. It looks like we are going to be closing in on the freezing mark, and any roads that are untreated may freeze up, especially with the amount of rain that we've received over the last 24 hours. 32 degrees up in Rome right now, mostly clear skies being reported. No wind, just calm winds, so no wind chill factor at play. Across the state, primarily cloudy cloudy skies in central New York and 32 degrees, mainly lower 30s. It's a chilly night. A little bit chillier than what was originally modeled for the evening, but nothing wrong with that. Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Things are finally quieting down. It's finally not a big painting. However, if I zoom out, you can still see that big area of low pressure that is spinning down to the south of New York City. This is going to slowly slide to the east overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, and it's going to change our wind direction into a more west-northwest direction, which is going to allow for that lake effect to develop. We dry out rather quickly tonight. Mostly cloudy skies after midnight. Temperatures in the low to mid 30s. By tomorrow morning, just mostly cloudy skies. As I progress through Saturday, we start to see some more showers show up. As we get closer to dinner time, closer to the evening hours, showers are a little bit more widespread, and then the lake moisture starts to work in as we get closer to 11 p.m. As I move forward overnight, that lake band swings right up through Oneida County. It's a mix of rain and snow showers, and it persists through midday Sunday and lingers into the early afternoon before it dwindles down to almost nothing by dinner time. We are looking at a low of 29 degrees tonight. Showers are ending, and it's going to be a mostly cloudy night tomorrow. An isolated shower, but otherwise, for the most part, a mostly cloudy day. Your 7-day forecast, that snow on Sunday, we are expecting, if you're in the higher elevations of Madison County, you may see an inch or two. Otherwise, it's just going to be a wet rain snow mix. We dry out on Monday with cloudy conditions, and then plenty more unsettled weather with a rain snow mix for Wednesday and Thanksgiving. We'll be right back.
News with Jason Pallas.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. The snow finally stopped everywhere. Some of us got nothing, others got a foot or more. It's all about the elevation. Let's get right over to meteorologist James DeFazio for a look ahead to the weekend. The numbers don't lie.
No, they do not. It was a drastic difference over very short distances. However, we're in the calm after the storm now. Things have quieted down, and we're expecting things to continue to stay calm as we head into the weekend. The weekend forecast looks relatively decent compared to what we dealt with over the last 36 hours. Just a spotty shower tomorrow, but otherwise a mostly cloudy day with highs in the low 40s. Lake effect showers develop on Sunday with highs again in the low 40s. A rain-snow mix for most. Some snow for the higher elevations in the hills of Madison County, some of the similar locations that saw the snow last night. Downtown Utica, just wet right now. However, the temperatures are dropping, so be very careful if you're out there traveling on any untreated surfaces. Showers are ending. We're going to have a mostly cloudy night. Isolated showers Saturday despite a primarily dry day, and then lake effect showers develop for Sunday. Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, you can see that area of low pressure that is now moved off to our south and east. This is what brought us all of that snow throughout the day today as well as last night. Fortunately, this is going to slide off to the east and bring different weather for the rest of the weekend. 32 degrees in Rome with mostly clear skies, calm winds. We're tracking lake effect snow for Sunday. However, with temperatures being above freezing, we're not anticipating anything too crazy for accumulation for anyone. We'll have details on that in a minute. Coming up in the full weather. Jason?
All right, thank you, James. We're following breaking news.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
Good evening. The low pressure center that has brought us plenty of mixed precipitation over the last day or two has finally slid off to the east, and things are quieting down. Taking a look at downtown Utica right now, you can see plenty of wet roadways out there, which is a bit of a concern as temperatures approach the freezing mark. You're going to have to be very careful on any driving that you do this evening as the temperatures dip. 32 in Rome, mostly clear skies, calm winds being reported. Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. The showers have diminished. The area of low pressure is now off to the east of New York, and it will continue to slide off to the east. It's going to change our wind direction, which is going to allow for a band of lake effect snow to develop on Saturday morning. On Sunday morning. As I move forward through Saturday night, mostly cloudy overnight. Saturday morning, we start to see some sprinkles throughout the day on Saturday. It's going to be primarily a dry day. However, there are going to be isolated showers sporadically across the region. Saturday night, the lake moisture begins to work in from the west. That lake band develops across Oneida County by Sunday morning. Through midday Sunday, we're expecting that lake effect snow band. It's going to be a mix of rain and snow with temperatures above freezing, and we are anticipating any accumulation to only be in the very high elevations in the hills of Madison County. For most of us, we will not be dealing with anything more than a rain-snow mix, just like this previous night. An isolated shower tomorrow, otherwise just mostly cloudy skies. Your 7-day forecast, we dry out on Monday. We have widespread rainfall on Tuesday before much more mixed precipitation moves in as we head towards Thanksgiving, and possibly even some snow for Friday, for Black Friday. Jason?
All right, thanks, James. Up next, it's Sports Express.